As things worsen between the Saviors and the kingdom, Richard hatches a plan to push King Ezekiel into action. But it involves sacrificing Carol, and then he tells Daryl about it. And as a surprising twist, Rick dies of septicemia. Okay, that didn't actually happen. But seriously, with all the shooting, stabbing, slicing, and cutting this group goes through, I'm surprised more of them haven't dropped dead of infection. It's The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 10. New Best Friends. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of The Walking Dead. So, of course, there are spoilers ahead. This is your final warning. Alright, so, good episode this week. I thought very tight, just a couple of real main sequences, everything moving forward, just story evolution. No just wasting time, no background stuff, just catching us up, moving forward with the kingdom, moving forward with Rick and company, and moving forward with Carol. So let's start off with, well, the opening scene, really, and that sort of sets up, again, the mood of what is going on here. The Saviors, the kingdom, their peace is not going to last. That's really what we were just illustrating here. The Saviors are always going to push. They're always going to push for more. They're always going to push for problems. These are characters, these are people that are driven by violence. They're driven by self-interest, and they see everyone else as below them. Therefore, they're always going to be throwing their weight around, and it's going to cost more lives soon. I was going to say, it's going to cost lives soon, but a lot of people have died on the hands of the Saviors. It's just going to get worse. Again, this is an untenable situation. And Richard sees that, and he can see the fighter that is in Daryl. So I loved, of course, their first little moment. Daryl gets his crossbow back. Come on, we all cheered. We all cheered when we saw that. He's got his crossbow. Daryl is back. He is ready. You can tell. Even his swagger kind of returns after that moment. But Richard's got a little bit more than just that plan for him. He's got a way of attacking the Saviors. We saw his little cabin before where he has stashed stuff. He had a little kind of private cry moment last time that we saw him in there. But here we get to see what he has. He's been storing weapons. He's been storing rifles. He's been storing Molotov cocktail makings for an attack on the Saviors. Attack the Saviors, cause a mess, then lead a trail back to Carol. When the Saviors go to attack Carol, then that'll upset King Ezekiel, and therefore he gets his war. Of course, his big problem with that is it involves Carol, and he tells Daryl about it. And I am honestly quite surprised that Richard survived that scene. I thought at any moment, especially when Richard, when they were kind of face to face, they had their first going off there, and then the Saviors came, and Daryl attacked him, and then they pulled up the bow, and then Richard pulled up his gun, and they had their nice little face-off, their little John Woo face-off scene there. And really, honestly, I thought at any moment at that point, Daryl is just going to drop him. We're going to say goodbye. I mean, first, when Richard even got up, I thought he was going to get shot in the back. But then, when they're kind of muzzle to muzzle, and Richard just makes that even further threat against Carol. I mean, just kind of pushes it just that little bit more. You know, he's not going to stop, that it's eventually going to happen. I thought that Daryl was just going to drop him right there. And I have to give it up to his character for not doing it. One, you need everybody. You're going to need everybody in this fight. And I think the warning was sufficient. When he finally just tells Richard, I love that, if she is struck by lightning, then I'm going to kill you. And I think he could see in that moment, I think Richard could see in that moment, that Daryl was telling the truth. So Daryl's got his crossbow, and he knows that Carol is around, which leads us to our other big, real moment there between Carol and Daryl. And again, there were tears. There were tears. There were tears in my coming down on my eyes right there. First, just when Carol opens the door. All right. After Ezekiel left and she goes back in and sits down and reading, part of me kind of just wanted Daryl's face to pop up in the window behind her. as she's reading her book, and just right behind her, just Daryl's face sort of pop in. Was kind of hoping that would be nice. But he's a gentleman. I love that he knocked. Just a gentle knock. And then when she opened the door, we didn't even have to see who it was. Her reaction was just, I mean, it was perfect. It really, again, shows the emotional bond these two characters have. And we were debating in the comment section last week about, the possible love triangle that I had said, in last week's bit. No, I don't think there is that type of relationship with Carol and Daryl anymore. I don't think they have that, lover's attraction type kind of thing. It was there and then it sort of disappeared off. Theirs is more compatriot. It's in some ways it's deeper than that. And I thought we really got to see that moment, even especially when, she reacts and Daryl was like, Morgan told me what happened and why did you go? And just, you could see he was starting to get all choked up there, and it was just, there was so much power in that scene. It didn't have to involve a lot. It was just these two performers just digging in and being in with those characters. And I thought that was just, it was a beautiful moment. We've been waiting all season really for this to happen. And it paid off wonderfully. And then we have the following moments where they get to sort of do their little catch-up. And when Carol asked about, we know why Carol left. Because she didn't want to kill anymore because she cared too much. And that she says this out to Daryl, and then what would happen if something happened. And then she asked, and I thought that was kind of an important thing. It wasn't just left out there for Daryl to make some sort of response. She actually inquired. So there was part of her that even though she wanted to walk away from it, couldn't necessarily just do that. That it had to be, she still had to know. She was still invested enough that she couldn't just not ask. Because she knew that the Savior should come. Or she feared that the Savior should come, and she found out all the information. So when Daryl doesn't tell her what happened, again, I think that was another great character moment, because you could see in the lead up to that, when Carol was giving her explanation of why it wouldn't, because she would have to respond, and in that she would lose the rest of herself. That might be overly dramatic, but that's how she sees it, and I think Daryl recognized that, and so that becomes his question. Does he tell her, does he be truthful with her, or does he spare her? And obviously he spared her. And I think it was the right call, because it wasn't the time, it wasn't the moment. She was already kind of vulnerable. And this is him being protective of her. You have made a choice. I care enough about you to support your choice. Because he knew what would happen. And Morgan knew what would happen also, which is, again, that other wonderful scene with Daryl's Rosita. Man! Good, great stuff this week. But Morgan immediately knows that he didn't tell her why, because he knew what would happen with Carol also. And I thought that was great that they kind of left it at that moment. That Daryl's like, all right, well, fine, but we know there's war, and I'm out of here, and it's up to you to bring Ezekiel. But that moment with Carol, that was defining, because trust me, this is my call. Eventually she will find out. You cannot keep a secret like that. Eventually it will come out. And it's bad enough with Abraham. But when Carol finds out what happens to Glenn, that's when all of this will turn. And then, of course, there is Rick and his whole new adventures with their new best friends, for sure. And you can tell me just the opening scene where he is being let out into the junkyard, the doors open up and the group walks out, and Rick walks out with everyone else. He's still got that huge grin on his face. He is still seeing the potentials, and it's only reinforced because this group is moving without saying anything. They're all going exactly where they need to be. They're all lining up. You have a large group moving smoothly like a well-oiled machine and noiselessly, without a sound, without any discussion. That is a powerful, powerful group. And of course, we get to meet their new leader, Jadis. The Pidgin English was a little weird. They've got their own little sub-language. It's been, a year and a half since all of this went down, I think, time-wise, what we have. So kind of a long time for language to denigrate, to devolve at that level. But, you know, who knows what these guys have been through. They've obviously been in the junkyard since the beginning, and that has been their base of operations. So Rick's now got some negotiation. And through all of this, I love the negotiation tactics going back and forth. We could really see Jadis as being another very powerful figure, obviously in command of her group. But certainly very confident and not afraid to push. The back and forth between her and Rick, I thought here was wonderful, especially at the end when they were just doing their final little bits of, I get half, no, I get a third, okay, well, we get our stuff, no, you get our stuff. I mean, it was really great to see this negotiation between these two characters, because I mean, Jadis obviously is in a position, as she tells Rick later on, their needs are changing. They've been in here, and then it changed, and then now there's something new that's coming on. It's time for them to change with it. But Rick seeing that potential, I mean, I don't think we've ever seen him as straightforward and as positive in a negotiation, in any type of interaction with people, than he is in this scene. And it's great to see. It's a great different character, but I have to say, it's a little creepy. It's a little creepy seeing Rick smile so much, you know? I mean, Rick smiling, there's some, I don't know, there's like a next level there. There's something creepy about it. But they do have their successful negotiations, and that just means the topper just got to prove yourself, so let's push you down into a pit with a spiked walker. Oh! That is the best. Okay, that is the best. We need more of this. This needs to be some future group stuff that goes on, because an armored spiked walker like this is just, why haven't we seen this before? This is such a brilliant idea. I think it portrayed a bit more of a threat. I mean, all I thought was just like, we'll just grab one of those spikes and just hold him back. I mean, the walkers aren't that strong, especially this one is half degrade. There's not much musculature left to use. But Rick, of course, he's straightforward, dives right into it. Man, that impale on the head. Okay, I gotta give it up to Rick, because he just dives right into things. He doesn't wait. It's just take care of business. Rick is all about taking care of business. But I'm serious about that infection thing. You're in a junkyard. A walker, ancient walker, who's already been tearing through people, as we saw from the skulls down there. The high level of infection on that is bad. I hope they got some serious meds still back at Alexandria. And it just makes me think, I mean, like I said in the opening bit, jokingly, but there is so much damage these guys go through, especially even just fighting walkers and stabs and cuts and things like that. Really, infection I don't think is treated as importantly as an issue that it actually is. But that probably just, you know, pulls away from the drama and everything. So I get that. But still, just an awesome fight. This is really something I would love to see more of this type of thing. And in the end, you know, they've got their deal. They just have to now go get a whole bunch of guns. Which makes me wonder if Tara's secret is going to remain a secret that much longer, because she does know up in Oceanside that there are a lot of guns and there are more people. But that would be a betrayal. So how long is she going to be able to really hold that out? That's going to be the bigger question. All right, just a few quick things. One, Father Gabriel. You are the man. You have stepped up. We've had issues with Father Gabriel before, but really has stepped forward in this scene. One, the total Rick cheerleader. Rick can get you what you need. He's unstoppable. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, really, and that was precluded by him just stepping up, grabbing the knife, and putting it right up to that girl's face. I mean, he has stepped up from the cowardly man that he is to be able to step up into that moment. That was awesome. And I loved his little final exchange with Rick there when he was asking why he was smiling. And that, well, someone has shown me that enemies can become friends. It really worked. The little bond that they have developed, you know, is nice. I mean, we do find out that Father Gabriel didn't just leave the wall. He had heard the noise. He had heard one of this group. We didn't get to see which one that it was. Had gone in and then surprised him in the pantry, and that's why she left. Now, Father Gabriel did leave willingly, so there must have been some discussion, negotiation of where they were going, but that Father Gabriel is appreciative that Rick trusted him. They have developed this, and I thought that was really nice. He gets his redemption. We get to see what actually happened, and his commitment is rewarded by Rick's trust. So all of that from a Father Gabriel, development standpoint, that's like he won the triple lottery right there. So right on, Father Gabriel, you the man. Rosita still being a bit of a bitch. Just unnecessarily so. She's now just confrontational. She is combative. And this is usually a sign that you are going to die. However, and we talked about this in some of the comments last week, just as a heads up, Sonequa Martin Green, as I'm sure that you have heard, has been cast as the lead in the new Star Trek Discovery TV show for CBS. I think it's actually CBS Online. So that is going to reduce her availability. Now, hopefully she can do both shows at the same time. But that also may mean that one, her role, Sasha's role, is going to be reduced because she's going to be off. Or, since she is not actually from the comics, but she is written in specifically for the show, she may be having her exit soon, in which case they may be focusing on Rosita to bring her up into more of a central character role. So that could be why she's doing this, or she's just unassigned for way out. Either way, one of these two people are probably going to die, Sasha or Rosita. I guess we're going to find out which one it is. But I don't like Rosita's movement right now. It's kind of annoying. It's very annoying. Oh, and Daryl got to pet a tiger. That's it. That's all I got. It's awesome right there. Shiva and Daryl. There's a pair for you. All right, so I think that's going to wrap things up for this week. Now, going forward, we've got Rick on the hunt for guns. Lots of guns for his new best friends to go fight against the Saviors. And I think things are going to continue to devolve between the Saviors and the Kingdom. There's going to be a push for Ezekiel coming soon. What that's going to be, we don't know. But next week, we're going to dive back into the Saviors territory and see what has been going on with Eugene. So how's Eugene making friends with Negan? That's probably going to be a bit scary for him, I'm pretty sure. So next week we're going to catch any of that. So if you did enjoy this review, go ahead and hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. Thoughts, ideas, comment section below. What do you think's going on? What do you think is going to be the next step? How long do you think it's going to be until Carol finds out about what happened? And is Tara going to give up Oceanside? Or is there going to be another source of weapons they're going to be able to find? Throw those down, comment section below. We'll keep some dialogue going. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Darren Jakes. But of course, if you don't want to miss any of these reviews, not only this one, but Black Sails and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Legion on FX. God, that show is awesome. You guys have to check it out if you have not. But if you have and you're curious about it, have some thoughts, you can join us for the reviews by hitting my little face right there. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a thing. And I'll throw up our review towards this week's Black Sails right here, and you can check that out. Other than that, I'm going to say goodbye. So, I am D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.